Hello there, welcome to Club Nintendo level 209, and this is also going to be our kind of favorite games of 2022 episode. Welcome back, guys. How are you doing, Aaron?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. I'm tired, but I'm about to go on vacation next week. So,
Oh, very cool. I mean, a lot of people just came back from a vacation, so.
Yeah, I did too, but, that's why you got to do another one.
Yeah. Oh, how are you doing, John?
I'm also tired, but I do not have a vacation
well?
come up. No,
Okay.
no.
I
mean,
Happy New Year. It'd be pretty ballsy to go on vacation right after coming back from a long vacation.
I mean, is that you talking to me or Aaron?
Aaron, yeah.
That's the best time to do it because you're feeling that, you're like, oh man, I just had that vacation. It'd be nice to have another one. Well, all right, I have one though. So
I'm not ready to be back. I'm not ready to do any of this stuff.
Yeah. Next week, I have my first day back in 9 weeks from paternity leave. So it'll be a weird experience going back. I'm just doing 2 days a week up until the middle of March. And then I'm doing 3 days a week until the rest of my 12 weeks for this year run out. So I'll have some light work weeks coming up here, but it'll feel weird.
Yeah, leaving the house feels weird after not.
I really does. Yeah, interacting with humans that are yeah. But should be good. I got some warm clothing in, so I got some new mittens that they're the ones that are finger tipless. So I got my fingertips and then put the mittens over them. It's got a little Velcro thing to hold it back when I need it back. And
stepping your game up.
Yeah, got some new fleeces. I'm ready for the winter. Today was 50.
Be over by the time you're back.
That's true. It's true. Today was 50 outside though. It feels like April today. Kind of weird. Yeah.
That's weird because it's snowing here. It snows here out pretty much every day because we're right on the lake. So
yeah, we had a couple inches yesterday, and then it all melted by today. So that's nice.
Yeah. That's cool.
So where do you guys stand in the Happy New Year? We're beyond that at this point, right? I mean, we're halfway through January.
Yeah, I feel like Happy New Year, it should only be said on the day, personally.
Or maybe the day after, the second.
Maybe if it's a work day, when you go into work and you you haven't seen those people,
right?
Yeah.
I think you got up until the 7th. You got 1 week in the first time. First time you see that person in the first week of the year. After that, you're done.
Okay, yeah.
If you didn't see him in the first week, you're done. You don't get a new year.
I totally forgot to boot up Animal Crossing for New Year's this year. I normally have that as a tradition of booting up the Animal Crossing. I forgot this year.
Well, that means that the game's dead.
Clearly.
They probably all left. Yeah, they left.
Yeah. The one thing I love about the Apple Watch is the fireworks on New Year's. That is one of the most delightful things Apple came up with. Are those fireworks?
Fireworks on New Year's?
Yeah, you never did it.
On the Apple Watch?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, on New Year's Day or right at 12, there'll be fireworks go off on your watch, over your watch face, and there'll be a little notification there that sticks around for a bit. You can just hit that notification and do more fireworks for as many times as you want that day. It's so delightful.
I wasn't wearing mine. Yeah. Because I did not see that. That's cool.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about the Apple Watch. On New Year's, at least. So, I guess before our favorite games of the year, we should just briefly go over what we're currently playing. Aaron, would you like to start with your long endeavor into this massive game?
Yeah, so I'm playing The Witcher 3. It's a 7-year-old game now at this point. Anyway,
I mean, it's brand new. I mean, for PS5 and Xbox Series.
Yeah.
So it's brand new, right? Yeah.
Well, it is brand new in a way. They just came out with the next gen update. It was free to everyone that owned the game. So basically, they updated all the graphics. They added in some cosmetic stuff from the show. So, if you ever watched the show on Netflix
with Superman.
No, with Geralt of Rivia. What are you talking about? Oh, you mean like the actor? Yeah, Henry Cavill. Yeah,
they should have a Superman skin in The Witcher with that actor. That could be.
No, that would ruin it.
No. That'd be great. Yeah, it'd be like a comedy mode. I don't know, some kind of.
Oh no.
Remember that there used to be more of that skinning and stuff. Like I think GoldenEye had some good skins.
Yeah, I don't remember any skins on that game that you could add in. But I remember starting
Game
like
Shark
Xbox days.
Game Shark, like texture packs and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never did any of that.
Yeah. But you
got to be really into a game to dive in and start changing like the way the texture.
Yeah.
It's like the Chex Mix game for Doom.
What is the Chex Mix?
Oh yeah. You know about the Chex Mix game?
This is a classic.
No, I'm a big Doom fan, and I've never heard of this Chex Mix. Tell me more.
What's it called, Aaron? The Chex Mix game.
I don't remember what it's called, but yeah, it's just
it
like
is out for Switch. Indeed, it is. I forget the name though.
You can get Doom on Switch, but
this is a separate
specific game. It's a specific game.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I'm looking this up right now. But you're playing this on PS5, right?
I'm playing on PS5, and I own the game 3 times. So I own it on PC. I got it like right when it came out, and I just never really got that far into it. And then when it came out on Switch, I'm like, yes, the perfect time, because it had the cross save. So I also didn't get into it then. And then when they did like the next gen update, I'm like, yes, I can now experience it properly. And I did. And man, it's a really good story, but it's super long. It took me 103 hours to complete my first way through, and I only got like a third of the trophies. So I'm gonna have to go back through.
Did you buy it 3 separate times?
Yeah.
Okay. Just curious. No shame.
And
just curious.
And you enjoyed the story? Like that held up?
I did. Yeah, the story's really good. Especially if you like the show. I really like the show, and I haven't really read any of the books, but it seems like it's got a lot like a really good lore that it draws from. So
is the game based on the books?
So the game comes out, from what I understand, it ends or starts, right where the books end. So it's kind of like a new thing, but like continuing the story. So,
okay.
And I also picked this up for PS5. I've not started it yet. I am kind of waiting for the Switch version to be updated to have that cross save, because that'll be great having PS5 and Switch as a cross save duo with this game, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that's coming.
It would have been nice to have, I think, during my playthrough, to be able to have like a slightly larger screen to like play like whenever I'm downstairs or something. But I ended up just doing the PS like remote play with the Backbone on my phone.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good, but the game has a lot of text. You find a lot of books, and there's a lot of dialogue where you like are making choices and like reading the subtitles and stuff. So on the phone, sometimes it's a little bit hard to play.
Yeah, some games feel like they're designed for like you're at a computer monitor kind of thing.
Yeah. Even
like TVs, you need like a 100-inch TV for that to be a good experience.
Yeah, I feel like that's how this was, because this was actually like The Witcher 3 was only the second time that it came to console. So like Witcher started, it's like a PC game.
Right.
Witcher 1 isn't even out on consoles. So yeah.
Yeah, I hear they're working on remaking that potentially.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah. So I've only heard great things about this. I've also heard it's just massive, and something that I'm not ready for another massive game quite yet. Because I just finished, as we'll talk about in our favorite games of the year, Persona 5 Golden, which was 104 hours to completion for me in that one.
Woo!
That's one heck of a JRPG, I'll tell you.
Plus I still haven't even touched the DLC. There's 2 like DLCs, which I heard are huge. So yeah.
Does it take advantage of DualSense much or 3D audio? And
It does. So the 3D audio a little bit. I mean, it has like better sounds. You know, you can hear more stuff off in the distance and stuff. But the controller isn't used a whole lot, except for one very interesting, kind of annoying thing after a while.
Bow and arrow?
No, it's whenever you're selling stuff at like a merchant, it does like this coin thing. It's like it's kind of like someone's dropping coins into like a bag or on like a counter, and your whole controller, both. The whole thing is just it's a really weird kind of grind in your hand, and like I haven't turned it off yet, but I'm tempted to because it's a lot.
So I did discover the game, the Chex Mix game. It's called Chex Quest, and there's Chex Quest HD for the Switch for $5. And here's the description here. You travel to the remote planet Vizork to free galactic citizens from the evil cereal-eating Flemoids. Chex Quest HD is a modern multiplayer remake of the classic 1996 FPS adventure game of the same name. The Intergalactic Federation of Snacks Outpost, remote planet, has been overrun by evil cereal-eating. So you play as one of 6 members of the Chex Mix Squadron in single-player or split-screen multiplayer mode. And you, it's basically Doom, but Chex Mix.
Is this, excuse me, is this a remake of a cereal box game?
Yes.
Yes, a cereal box video game that's for Windows PC, I believe.
They were some good. Those are some good games.
And this
back
came
in the
out
cereal
March
boxes.
of 2022, so this had potential to be someone's favorite game of this year.
Yeah,
it's 2.5 gigabytes, which I find amazing. That these graphics take up that much space. I think Kirby's probably around that size. I really kind of want to get this one day because it's just reeks of 90s nostalgia here.
Yeah,
and the levels are great. Like, it's one of those great things from the 90s. Yeah, so I think we should play this at some point. There is online multiplayer we can all play.
Does it really have online multiplayer?
Yeah,
it does. Yeah,
we could do it.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, the PvP.
Yeah, there's like laser guns and stuff. I think in this one too.
It kind of looks bad though. It kind of looks like.
Don't you remember playing this, Aaron?
No, I don't remember playing it.
I played the heck out of this game growing up.
Was it a full? It's a full game. It's not like a demo.
Yeah, it's like a full game.
It's a full game. Yeah.
Yeah. $5. Quit the steal. John, what have you been up to gaming wise?
Well, mostly these past few weeks, I've been playing a little bit of everything because I got my handheld emulator finally in.
Ooh, this is like the Android.
It is device. It's an Android based device. They've been around for a while, but I've started seeing them a lot more lately. So, started around last year, I started paying more attention to them, and I finally decided to get one, and it is really, really awesome. I gotta say, it's really cool.
So how recent of games can this emulate?
This so it's got I think it's a 6-core processor with two like 78 high efficiency cores and 4 like low power cores. So it's pretty capable.
Than my like college laptop.
Oh, it is. Yeah. I mean, it's an ARM it's a pretty decent little, it's nothing to sneeze at. It's nothing like super, super powerful. Like I wouldn't put up against like an iPhone, recent iPhone or anything like that. But it's got a decent ARM processor in it. It's got 4 gigs of RAM. Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad.
And it's pretty fast RAM. It can run GameCube games pretty well up res to 1080p.
Oh, really?
It gets pretty warm.
Okay.
I got the frame rate counter on, so I'm always watching the frame rate on these.
Do you have to
to
plug
see
it
what
in
it
the
does.
power for those like more warm
No, the
games?
battery's pretty good on it. It's
Okay.
pretty shocking. Definitely got warm running Wind Waker on it.
Can you hook it up to a TV for TV output?
Yeah, you can. It's weird because it does have USB-C for charging
Okay.
on the bottom. And you would think, oh yeah, cool, USB-C. I'm just gonna plug it in through that. But no, there's a micro HDMI on the top for the video. Wait, I'm not mad. It's there. You know, you can't get mad. You know, like a $10 adapter and you're good to go.
And then you have charging through USB-C, and then you
charging
have
through USB-C or data. So if you want to come to a computer or whatever, it comes with.
So upload the ROMs and stuff.
Well, I put an SD card in there, but it does have 128 gigs of like built-in storage.
Because there's no web browser, you can't download directly ROMs.
Oh no, it's got Android on it. It's got a web browser.
So you can download stuff directly from that unit.
You totally could, yeah, probably. Okay. I've got a collection of ROMs that I usually just like all my favorite ones already, you know.
Yeah.
Already there, ready to go. So I just take from that. Plus, you got to load it's not like super plug and play. Like you're not taking this thing. Well, you are. It does have a pre-built in like interface for the ROMs and everything, but you still got to like provide the BIOSes and all that, you know, like. So it's definitely not like you're not giving this to your grandma and she's not playing Mario in 5 minutes. There is some setup involved, but once you get everything going and the way you like it, you're flying. It's awesome.
Could you mirror an SD card and like ship that SD card to me and be up and running, or do you need the hardware?
Oh yeah, you could. Yeah,
it's all based on the SD card, so you could like send me an SD card with that stuff already good to go.
You could, I think, because you're gonna probably want to download some different emulators from the Android Play Store. You're still going to have to do some configuration in that regard, I think. But if like you had a SD card with everything ready to go, you would be up and running in probably like 45 minutes to an hour, I think. Biggest thing is just kind of getting the interface, because they have different like kind of front ends you can buy, or not buy, but use. So kind of, you know, how do you want your library to look? You know, how do you want everything to show up? The one that comes with is pretty good. It looks a lot like the Switch, but once you get into like, oh, I want to play my Game Boy Color games, you click on that. That's where it starts to kind of get really bad, because it's just a list. And some of the other
folder
ones you can
support.
Yeah. The one I got's really good because you can have like a widgets tab where you can pin things, you know, like your favorite games or the ones you recently played, and it's a lot more customizable as far as the list. But yeah, I mean, I've been playing a lot of N64 because it's really great at upscaling N64 into like, I've been putting it on 720p because in handheld, that's as high up as the screen goes. It's a 4.7 inch 720 or 750p
two joysticks.
Screen. It does, yeah. It's got two joysticks. They click. They sort of clicky. Yeah. It's got two triggers, you know, L buttons, shoulder buttons.
How's PS2 games looking? So you tried much of that?
Have not tried any PS2 games.
Okay.
I've been pretty preoccupied with GameCube's like as far as I went.
Yeah, I imagine past like PS3, hell no.
It'll run very slow. But the cool thing is, because it runs Android,
I imagine Wii is GameCube and Wii pretty similar.
It's the same.
Processor. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's the same emulator. Yeah, it uses the Dolphin emulator, which I know, Aaron, you've used on your PC, right? Yeah. So it's just a handheld version of that. Cool thing, it does run Android, so like that's kind of like a blessing and a curse. Blessing because it's cool, you can do all this cool stuff. It's a curse because half the stuff like doesn't work well. Like it's like, yeah, you can do it. It doesn't work half the time, but you can do it. So
could you install Vampire Survivors on that thing through the Android store?
Yeah. I've downloaded some just normal Android games on there. Yes. You can download, I'm pretty sure, like the latest, like the Android Call of Duty and stuff, and play it. I downloaded the PlayStation Play Remote Play, and it works on it.
Nice. I didn't even think about that.
So I'm just playing the Remote Play like from this thing with a controller built in, and it's pretty.
Oh man, I didn't even think about that.
Pretty great. I'm not using the official PlayStation one. There's actually,
if you have a backbone, but that seems like a great, just like dedicated device.
Yeah, well, it's got an iPhone screen. It's using the 4.7 inch iPhone screen.
So it's a decent screen.
It's a decent screen. Yeah, I mean, Game Boy games like have never looked this good. Like it just looks really good. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of stuff, bouncing around, a lot of Tetris DS. Because I'm playing a lot with kind of the emulation on DS, which I've never done. I've never emulated DS games.
I mean, what's that experience like?
It's cool. You can kind of arrange the screens however you like. If you want one bigger in the corner, if you want them side by side, if you want
a touch screen,
too. It does. The touch screen works.
That's an advantage over some other emulator machines.
Yeah. The touch screen works fine, which I was shocked. I kind of just tapped the screen. I was like, oh,
I'm waiting
it actually works.
When someone creates a dual screen, a DS kind of facsimile for emulation. I don't know if that'll ever happen.
Well, a lot of the flip Android phones, people are putting DS emulators on them and stuff.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
Screens,
like the Z Flip and stuff.
Yeah, but honestly, just side by side's pretty good. Yeah. With Tetris DS, the top screen literally shows nothing but like a video it plays. So I just literally got rid of it for that game. And you can set different settings for different games and stuff when it works. Sometimes like I'll set control settings and I'll go back in and they'll just reset. And so I'm still tweaking things a little bit. Okay. But man, yeah, it's totally awesome.
That's great to hear.
It's really cool.
Is this a sub $100?
It is $150.
Okay, not bad.
So right at like kind of the max I would be willing to kind of pay for something like this.
Right.
But now having one, I'd say like if as the screens get bigger and bigger,
quality.
It's going to be hard to turn down one of these things once it has like a 5 and 6 cent screen, which is like the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck can do a lot of that.
But bigger and thicker and heavier.
Bigger and bigger. And I kind of wish it did have Linux as an option because Android, like I said, it's cool. You can do a lot with it, but at the same time, it's like it's janky. Like it is so janky. And it's like, how is this like people use this on a daily basis? Like they have an app that lets you remap the buttons, which is just because Android lets you do that. You can remap the buttons. So I download it because I'm like, oh, cool. I want to remap the button to launch the launcher I want to do all this stuff. Works for like 2 days. And after 2 days, it just breaks. And I go into the app and the app literally tells you, yeah, there's a problem with the app running. I'm like, but it doesn't tell you how to fix it. And it just starts working again the next day. And it's just like, what is going on? Like, that doesn't make sense. So I've been dealing with Android, which some things just don't make any sense. It's cool. You can get some that are cheaper with smaller screens. They got some really cool like little pocket ones that look like little mini Game Boys. So if you're interested in like just any type of Game Boy or like retro emulation where you're not pushing it, anything. Even nothing.
The Xbox game streaming service would probably work well on that.
It would, yes. I've heard people doing that as well. Also Steam streaming, because apparently Steam has a streaming.
If you own a PC, it's like local, like PS Remote Play.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Steam Link.
It's also got, because Android allows emulation, obviously. There's a DOS emulator on there, which is pretty cool. And you get
that is cool.
It's got a front end that lets you just run like put in DOS games and stuff. Yeah, Oregon Trail. So I haven't gotten into that yet. I did download Wolfenstein 3D for DOS and play that for a little bit, which was cool. I was actually shocked that it just worked. Like it was barely any setup with the controls.
Yeah, there was a iOS DOS emulator for iPad that I nabbed.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that one. I think.
Yeah, you load up the old DOS and boot it like a computer. So
that is cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, right now I started a Pokemon Silver game, so I'm actually running through Pokemon Silver again.
See, I don't know if I'd want to do that on a system that I can't transfer the Pokemon into Bank and into my Pokemon library.
I thought about that, and honestly, I don't care. Like, it's just so good. It's just so good to play this game, and it looks so good on the emulation. And plus, they can do things like there's ways to get in Game Shark cheats, I'm pretty sure, and do other things like that. So,
it would be fun to play it through Pokemon, just everyone at level 99, and just like ramp through that thing.
It's just so cool having some of your old favorite games, like my old NES games, where I can the ones that have never been on Virtual Console, just be able to like pick them up at any second and like, just have them there. It's so cool.
Were you ever tempted by the Analog Pocket with it reading cartridges.
Yes,
it's a more expensive.
I'm still tempted. I'm still tempted by it, but honestly, this thing is kind of
because that one you have to get the cartridges and load the cartridges versus this you just get the ROMs.
Yeah, I mean that one I think they've started to open it up to ROMs. I think recently, which carts aren't a problem. I got tons of Game Boy carts. You know, I'm not put off by that at all. I think it's cool when it runs natively. But honestly, the emulation is just so good these days. There's almost no reason it feels like it, especially for old systems like Game Boy, where it's like, this runs 60 frames per second, smooth. You know, you can put in your own texture packs. You're starting to be able to run your own, change the code and run the code your own way. So there's just so much cool stuff you can dive into and kind of play around with, and especially with games that are all but forgotten. It's really cool. I could go on, probably talk about it for a while because it's really fun. But that's kind of been my past couple weeks, few weeks while I was sick. And
how far did you make it through Last of Us?
Oh, I made it like 5 hours in, and then I got distracted by this.
Okay.
I am still playing it. I just need to open up my PlayStation.
It's a 15 or 16-hour game.
I got a decent bit of the way through.
Yeah. Are you still in the first season?
Yes.
Okay. That's the longest season, I believe.
Yes, definitely.
But it's
the last thing I did was just boot it up just to try it on the emulator. And it worked, and I was just super happy. So I was like, yay! And then I went right back to playing,
there you go,
old games.
I've been playing Last of Us Part 1. I'm in the final hour of the game.
You've been playing it? You've been playing Part 1?
Yeah, I got the PS5 version.
Oh, you got the PS5 version? I didn't know that.
Yeah. I thought I sent that to you.
Oh, really? Well, I've been.
You might have thought I've been playing remastered, but I was playing through. Yeah, I got it when it was on sale. And some of the changes have just been delightful in this remake. Like they brought over some things from Part 2 into this first one that just scared the bejesus out of me.
It looks so good. I mean, it does.
It looks incredible.
It's the best looking game I've probably ever played.
And when you get to Winter, John, you'll notice it's not a spoiler to say there's multiple seasons and you'll progress through more time than what you're in now. In Winter, the enemies, some of them, they've been out in the cold so long, they're blue, which is such a nice lived in world kind of thing that I don't think was in the originals. I don't know what to say not to spoil the experience for John. But just needs to say,
there's not much you can say about that game without spoiling it.
It's incredible.
I mean, at this point, I'm literally just walking around killing the zombie people and running through the sewers and I'm like,
I noticed the haptics for the flashlight. 3 or 4 hours into the game, it's like, oh, there's haptics when I turn on and off the flashlight.
There are. I noticed that. I noticed that too. Yeah.
And I'm super excited for the HBO series that starts releasing on Sunday. So I think I'll finish it right as that's starting the release. So I'm excited.
Sunday, as in 2 days from now?
2 days from now, yeah.
Oh, whoops. Okay.
So
it's a good thing it's a 3-day weekend.
As you play, John, you might, the first episode you'll probably be good, but I'd start playing to make sure you know.
I'm kind of curious how they adapted because so far, well, I could see a couple.
The reviews have been really impressive. They really considered how to transform this into a proper TV show, and it expands upon the game.
How many episodes is it going to be?
9, I think. Okay. I think it's 9. Yeah.
So one thing I heard about the show that I was a little concerned with is that they were saying that in a video game, you're more willing to kill, right? So you have all these zombies and stuff, and it's not.
Yeah, you're there to slaughter people. Yeah.
But in the show, they're saying that they pulled back on that because it would feel not genuine when you're
everyone's just murdering everybody they see.
Joel is a monster in this game. I mean, he just kills
So one of the things I read is some people were concerned that wouldn't translate well, but then some people said that they did a really good job with it. So I don't know. I've heard both.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited.
we'll
and
see.
yeah, I'm excited for the voice actors are in the series for Joel and Ellie as different characters. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, I'm almost done with that. This will be like my 4th or 5th time through the game. It's one of my favorites. I don't think I'll jump right into part 2. I'm kind of tempted to play that again. I platinumed it. So there's nothing really left for me to do with as far as trophies, but I just might want to experience that story again. I don't know.
You start finding glitches. If you've 100% and now you need to go through and start breaking the game.
That's true. I platinumed the PS4 version of Last of Us. I'm not sure if I'll go through and do that quite yet. Maybe next year I'll pick it up again and go for the platinum or something. Take my time with it. And then I just started BioShock Remastered on the Switch. I think last episode we were talking about BioShock.
Yes.
And a couple days ago, there's a 2K sale. $10 for BioShock 1, 2, and Infinite. So
is
like
it still on sale?
I believe so.
Oh shoot, I might do that.
And my goal points, it was like $9.50. So it was like a little bit over $3 per game, which all these are here are incredible.
That's a good, that's a steal.
I also picked up the Borderlands collection, which had Borderlands 1, 2, the pre-sequel. That was another amazing deal. Normally $50 for these collections. So I start BioShock. I'm like an hour into it, and oh boy, does that thing look amazing on the OLED Switch, Sean. The opening scene with the water and blacks and the fire looks so good on the Switch.
I gotta tell you, after playing this little tiny handheld emulator, going back to this thing is like going like to an IMAX theater for the first time. You're like, whoa, it's so big. Everything's so big. Yeah, yep. I could see this looking really good on here.
Yeah, pick it up on still on sale.
I'm gonna check now.
It looks great, and there's no frame rate issues. It's perfect on Switch.
Well, I mean, the game is like 15 years old.
It's from the PS3 era, right?
I mean, even like the remastered version looks kind of old. It looks kind of dated.
Yeah, I mean, as far as remastered, like a while ago,
like the texture is good, but like the polygons you can tell are pretty jagged.
Yeah, the art style does do well as far as aging. I think it ages nicely with that art style they went with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm about an hour into it. I've had some very intense moments already, and this world is just very confusing to me. I'm not reading much about it. I'm not reading anything about this game. I'm just kind of going through it. I saw the how long to beat thing was like 12 hours for all, each of the games are about 12 hours long. So it's like, okay, I just finished Persona 5 in 104 hours. I can play all 3 of these in a fraction of the time. So I'm going through and seeing what this is all about. The mechanism of like you pass by a chamber that's like your spawn point without actually interacting with it's kind of interesting. Yeah, it seems like I'm running out of ammo and I need to be better conserving my weapons.
Yeah, so those games are not shooters. They're it's I don't really know how to describe it, but the best way is like once you get to the last one, BioShock what is
Infinite.
it? Yes, Infinite.
Yeah.
That I've heard described as a BioShock with guns. So it's actually the first one where they actually kind of leaned into like the gunplay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So until then, you kind of have a different play style. It's more like sneaky and yeah. So I'm on normal difficulty, and I'll see how that goes. I'm doing well so far, but I just want to experience this game. So I'm not ashamed if I need to go down to easy just to experience this. I don't know. We'll see. You're playing on the hardest difficulty?
The medium.
Medium. Okay.
It's the standard one they suggest to you by default. The one that's suggested if you've played a shooter before. That's a description of it.
BioShock, yep, still $10.
You're getting the right version that has all 3?
The collection, right? Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's true with the 2K games. There's like with Borderlands especially, there's like here's all these different Borderlands.
Yeah.
And you can like save $2 and only get one of the games versus like the Borderlands collection and like.
Yeah, I don't like all that.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's what I'm embarking on now on my Switch. There's so many things.
I had $6.
You need to fund your wallet. Is that what you're saying?
No, I $6. I can 600 gold coins.
Okay. And then
now I feel like I want to stay
playing the Mario Kart DLC. That is quite good. It seems like the Mario Kart DLC has been getting better and better each and every pack. This latest pack, pretty much all but one of the courses uses the anti-gravity mode in some way. And if you'll remember back to the first DLC pack, no maps, I don't think, any of the courses used anti-gravity. So they're doing better about embracing the anti-gravity and making these more Mario Kart 8 courses versus just, standard Mario Kart courses, which is a good thing. And there were so many great courses in this one. A lot of the N64 courses felt like a good pack, and some decent 3DS courses that brought back fond memories of that game. So, yeah. Hades is still on my docket.
So long.
I haven't played in so long either.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, I think the last time I played is like when they announced like the DLC the first time. It was like, they did that huge drop by like the month. I don't know. That was a few years ago.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I've been playing. Persona 5, I finished Golden. We'll talk about that in our favorite games of the year, but that I just finished like yesterday or the day before. One hell of a game, and we'll talk about that later. Anything else with what we're playing before we move on? Good? Okay. I just want to briefly go over our kind of game state of the platforms or whatever that we got year in review type stuff. I don't want to spend too much time in it because I don't think everyone has their info. Aaron, you're trying to remember you had played how many hours within like a month of getting a PS5?
Yeah, my PS5, all the stats are gone from the 2022 thing, so I should have taken some screenshots. But I do recall one that was very I was proud of. So I got my PlayStation November 14th of 2022, and in my 2022 state of recap, what was it called? What they called, the state of play or something like that? I don't know. Anyway, 264 hours I played my PlayStation.
That's a lot, man.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I have 672 hours for the whole year Sony. 228 hours were on PS5 games. 445 hours were on PS4 games. And I was curious, like, what did I play so much on PS4 from last year? And I recalled that all of the From Software games were PS4 versions, except for Demon's Souls. But I spent 9 hours in PSVR, and I played 212 different days, the 365. The top 5 games: Dark Souls 2, 111 hours, 16% of my playtime, followed by Elden Ring at 14%, Dark Souls Remastered at 12%, Sekiro at 11%, and Demon's Souls at 8%. And I played 25 games on the PlayStation last year. So that's Sony. It's a decent year for Sony.
Yeah, pretty good.
Me. Mainly because of From Software being what they are. And then as far as Nintendo, my most played games were Arceus, Xenoblade 3, and Pokemon Violet. And I recognized 3+ years of me playing Animal Crossing, which I barely touched this year, but I did. And role-playing games were 43% of my playtime from this year on the Switch.
Nice.
So that's that.
Yeah, my Switch was interesting because my top 3 games are all Pokemon. So I have Pokemon Legends, Pokemon Shield, and Violet. So
that's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Violet, you returned it.
Oh yeah, but it's still made. It's still made my number 3. because that's how little I played my Switch. So I was looking at my time, and it's like all my playtime was in January and then like November and December. So
yeah. When did you play Sword and Shield?
I played it all the way back in January, getting ready for for Legends and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So let's do it. Urjot, do you have anything from your recaps of the year? I'm not sure if you saved any of that data.
I just logged in to the Nintendo website, and most played Splatoon 3, Splatoon 2.
So Splatoon 2 is below Splatoon 3.
It is, which is kind of weird.
It is, because you've been playing Splatoon 2 steadily.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to believe some of these things. Horizon Chase Turbo played that was my top game in January. Played like 5 hours of that in January. That's a racing game. If you guys haven't played it, it's really good, actually, a racing game. You're into arcade racers. Looks like Legends Arceus was top game. No, that's nothing else. I played a lot of apparently N64 because I was playing through Banjo-Kazooie in the summer.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, because it came out on this was the first year with N64, right? On Switch.
I think so, the first full year at least.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's all.
We're still waiting for the GoldenEye drop, I think.
Yes, we are.
When is that happening?
I don't really care anymore because I got it on my emulator.
Well, if you get it on the Switch, we can play online.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I think this emulator lets you mod and add online play. Because there's
with Nintendo Switch Online though?
Probably not. Well, with other emulators.
Okay. I didn't have to get an emulator. It seems too complicated.
You got a computer, right? Oh wait, you don't have a computer.
I have an iPad. What's a computer, John?
Yeah. Something. Oh my gosh.
Oh. Okay.
Hey there.
So the video.
Just throw that cat
down. You're gonna get canceled for that.
That's what happens. Anal abuse if you grabbed my cat.
What's the guy's name? The Tiger King.
Tiger King. Yeah.
Tiger King. Kitty King.
She likes being picked up every now and then.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, clearly. Oh boy. But I'm excited to play the GoldenEye with the N64 controller from Nintendo, so it'll be a good time, I think.
Yes, that will be cool. That will be cool.
Sweet.
It'll be weird playing online multiplayer with split screen though, because apparently it's gonna still have split screen.
Yeah, we can look at the other screens.
Just look at your screen. Yeah, that's.
That's the classic way of playing.
I guess so. Yeah.
Remember, I loved the Perfect Dark had that weapon that you just stand still and shoot through walls.
There was like 3 of them.
There was one in particular. This alien gun.
Farsight.
The Farsight.
Farsight. Yes, oh my gosh, the Farsight.
Yeah.
I was like a laptop gun.
Oh, the laptop gun was good.
And the Calypso, I think
the Calypso was you could shoot through doors as well.
Yeah. But the Farsight, you could shoot through the entire map pretty much. It was wild.
Yeah.
Talk about OP weapons. That thing was not balanced at all.
So if you had 2 people, you would have one person. You could go into the facility map, and or in that one that was called Felicity, and
I forgot about that. Oh my gosh!
And you would have one person stand at the bathroom door with either the Farsight or the Calypso, and just like shoot through the door and kill all the perfect Sims, and they would just like stack up at the door. And then, like every once in a while, you would have someone come in with or through up like the vents. So you would have someone at the back watching the vents, just in case one person.
The perfect Sims were so bloody difficult.
Yeah,
I don't understand how no other game has copied the Sim the Sim mechanism.
That's not a thing in other games, really.
Yeah. And there was one that was like was it called the Venge Sim? Was that like the highest one?
Yeah, they come after you. They're venging.
If you kill it, it tries to.
If you kill it, it would just come after you.
Yeah, better AI now. Why is this not a thing?
Exactly. It was so good even back then. Like, just imagine now.
Use
all the things you could do.
Shadow of Mordor AI for that kind of tech. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Oh, is there good AI in Shadow of Mordor?
Yeah, the Lord of the Rings games. That's what they were known for, right, Aaron?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
they would learn the way that you fight, and you had to like change up your tactics. Yep.
That's cool.
So, let's get to our favorite games of the year, and let's start with honorable mentions, if we have any.
Yeah.
Aaron, would you like to begin with your first honorable mention?
Yeah, I have The Quarry as mine. This game was one of those like movie games is the best way to describe it.
I love movie games.
Yeah. You just kind of sit back and just like make choices along the way. This one was really cool. I played on my PC over the summer, and the graphics are pretty insane. It was literally like watching a movie, and I was impressed the whole time, like ray tracing on and all that good stuff.
How's it compared to Until Dawn?
I have never played Until Dawn.
Oh, Aaron, that needs to be on your short list. I think that's on the PS Plus collection as well.
Yeah, I think I have it in my stuff, but never played it.
That should be on your short list. That's a good one. Same developer. That's what I was asking.
Okay.
I'm curious about The Quarry. Any other honorable mentions?
No, that's it.
Okay. What you, John? Any honorable mentions that didn't make your top 5?
The honorable mention I have for top 5, or that isn't in my top 5, would probably be Tetris Effect.
Okay. You played this on the Switch.
I played this on Switch. Haven't played too much of it, so I didn't like complete or anything.
Yeah.
Didn't make it the top 5 because again, there's other things I played I think I like more and more of. But this game, like if you like Tetris, I could totally recommend this.
It's like
to anybody. Yeah, it's really good. Really good music, good visuals, a lot of fun. You can get lost in it. That's what you want.
Especially if you have an OLED Switch.
Yes.
And it's great in PSVR, and I really hope they update this for PSVR too. Yeah. I have a couple honorable mentions. For Switch, Mario Strikers Battle League.
Oh.
I really enjoyed this game, and especially shined during like a wedding week where I brought it and we were playing multiplayer. Local multiplayer with Mario Strikers is still lots of fun. And I lost a lot because I'm not that great at sports games, evidently.
That's really the only way to play that game, I feel like, is local multiplayer.
It's great.
In fact, isn't that the only
there is a single player mode. It's not very deep. There's no story, but there are tournaments. I have beaten the main tournaments, and then once you beat those, there are harder tournaments that I have not beaten because they're just very difficult. But yeah, and they've been adding characters to it throughout the year. Yeah, I mean the gameplay itself is good. I just wish there was more of a story mode. My other honorable mentions: Horizon Forbidden West. Really loved the story in this game, and doing at the very end of the game, you do something I was imagining throughout the entire game, and it's pretty cool of us being able to do, and you finally are able to do it. This ability was spoiled in a trailer for the DLC. I won't say anything else outside of that. But super solid characters and story and gameplay. Yeah.
That game or like that series makes me think like they just came out at poor times because the first
Elden Ring and Zelda.
Yeah, it's like if they just would have had, I don't know, just like pushed them a little bit, they probably would have won a lot more like awards. People will be talking about them a lot more.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be funny if the DLC got delayed until May with Breath of the Wild 2. That'd be hilarious to me. But I don't think they'll make that mistake. And then my final honorable mention is Vampire Survivor for iOS. This was close to making my top 5, quite honestly. The gameplay loop is just so satisfying. And on the phone, it translates really well. Like, it's a single stick that you control virtually, or it works with the backbone. And that's a really cool experience on the backbone. But just touchscreen-wise, it actually works well. At the beginning, it took me a good couple hours to understand, okay, I'm dying really easily. What's going on here? And then it finally clicks. I did a run where I got through all 30 minutes. And then you start powering things up and leveling your character up over time with the carryover run to run. And I'm at the point where I can play this and I feel like a god, 15 minutes into it, and I'm just like demolishing these waves of enemies. And there's different power-up combos with the weapons. They merge into different weapons. And it's just such a satisfying ride of just you're this character that's surviving these vampires and other enemies, vampire survivor, and it's so simple and so well done, and it's entirely free on iOS, and the developer went to great lengths to make sure it wasn't an annoying mobile game. You have to seek out the ad if you would like to watch an ad, but it's not in your face. It's just a little tiny button that you can click if you want an extra revive or some gold. But that's it. So really good there. Yep.
Yeah. I've been playing this game on PC since it launched earlier this year, and it's a lot of fun. I think it was only like $2 or maybe like $1 through Steam.
Okay.
And yeah, the only thing I like about it more than like the mobile version is that you get to see more on like the sides.
Yeah.
So you kind of get to plan out your path a little more when you're moving, especially when you're when you're starting out and you have some of those like stronger waves where like the enemies take multiple hits. You can kind of choose where you're going to be walking more than on the phone. So
yeah, no, it makes sense. And I imagine iPad would be similar experience with the bigger screen a bit, but even better with the 27-inch monitor, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And that's your number 5, right?
Yes, it is my number 5. So barely made the list there, but I played a lot this year, and it was one of those.
This would be great with like a single joystick, like a flight control stick.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
that could be fun. I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty fun to just like hop in that game because it's really quick to launch. You can just get in and just start running around, and like that it's only going to last up to 30 minutes since there's a time limit on each of the levels. So
evidently, you can beat the boss that kills you after 30 minutes. It's like
you can, yeah.
Which is wild. It reminds me of like, let me beat the boss at the end of Ski Free, the monster that chases you. Like, let me kill that thing. I've not done it yet, but do you have a favorite weapon combo?
I like mainly like the garlic, and the one that kind of goes on like a vertical line and shoots like sparkle stuff. Pretty much any of the stuff that's like the AoE. I like the Bible,
the holy water.
No, not the holy water, because that one's kind of random. It just like puts like once you get that one maxed out, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, because I'll just walk into the holy water spots and hang out there as like a protective zone.
I think the best combo is the Bible, the garlic, and like the holy water all maxed out because you can just stand still.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love the maxed out knives and the wand, which are infinite shooting. Those are nice. And the axe does so much damage after it's maxed out into the cleaver thing.
Yeah.
Like the axe is just wild once it's maxed out.
And sometimes, pretty much like different characters, you want to be using like different weapons because they have certain bonuses for different things. So
I prefer starting with garlic because that helps you max out your character faster. Because at the beginning, garlic is the most useful for just killing the low level enemies.
The problem though is start with the garlic. If you choose that guy, is he's slow. So
it's true.
You gotta get some speed. Yeah.
Anyways,
it's a lot of fun.
Cool. John, you're number 5.
Number 5 for me is Gran Turismo 7.
Ooh, interesting.
Yes. Apparently, if you asked me a while ago, even a couple of years ago, I'd say I'm not that big into racing games. And I think
this is like a serious like racing game where it's like the love of the car kind of thing.
It is, yeah. It's a serious racing game, and I really, really like it. But I'm also noticing like I have a lot of racing games I've been playing lately. I've been playing this. I've been playing the Horizon Turbo. I've been playing another game that's on the list that's up higher. But this one is just like man, you could just put this on and kind of forget you're playing a game. You're just everything's so good looking. It's relaxing. Most of the time it's relaxing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's too relaxing because you're like, is this even a game anymore? It's kind of going in circles.
It gets super challenging because they always start you in the back of the line.
Yes.
No matter how well you do. You're always in the back working your way through.
And it's good because you actually have to know a little bit about what you're doing. It's not just like pick the best looking car and hit go and go fast. It's like, oh man, no, this PT Cruiser actually beats out this other car in a lot of regards. Like, it's much more nuanced and interesting than just the arcade racers that I'm used to. But just for like the sheer beauty of it, like I could play this all day.
And the haptics feel so
good. Haptics, literally, I was about to say, the haptics feel great. The controls feel great.
And they kind of form the gameplay, too. It's like another level of visual. You also have the feel, I'm about to spin out.
Yeah, definitely. The resistance in the triggers is great. Yeah, it's all really cool. So, yeah, this is... I think I got the version that came with, because I think there's different versions maybe.
Probably.
That have different. I got the one, it was on sale. It came with like everything, I think. So I don't know. Nice. Because I haven't seen any like in-app purchases or anything like that. So I don't know if there's something like that in the version I didn't get. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of.
But you can also unlock all that stuff just through gameplay.
Yeah. Okay, good. But yeah, it's been really cool. So
very cool. Yeah, one of my favorite courses in that is the dirt course where you're in the truck. Flying, jumping around in the truck. It feels so out of place in that game, but it feels so good.
God, that reminds me of Excite Truck for the Wii. I don't know if you ever played Excite Truck. That game was awesome. But yeah, Gran Turismo.
So, PSVR 2 will have full support in this game. Would you want to go in VR?
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. Interesting. Oh yeah, because
you get the head haptics in
the movie. Too. Oh.
Yeah. I'll have my VR unit, and you'll need to come up and experience it. And see if it's worth it.
I can bring the copy.
I have a GT7 as well.
I'm not big when I play racing games in the cockpit view.
No, I'm not either. I'd imagine VR will force you in the cockpit mode.
I feel
Although I have seen a lot of good VR games that are third person, like Astrobot. So I'm curious if they will give the option to go third person.
I don't know. Their whole thing is like realistic. Everything's super realistic. I feel like you're gonna make me feel like I'm in the car.
In VR, I kind of am tempted, like, do I get a wheel and the pedals and stuff? But I want a wheel that has haptics like the controller, because the controller haptics are so good. So
yeah, I don't know. I feel like it'd be cool to try, but I'm not sure it'd be something I'd dig and do every day. I mean, it might be, maybe it's super cool. Yeah. I don't have the PlayStation VR, and
no one does yet.
The new one does. Yeah, the new one's not out. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I was thinking maybe the old one would work with the new one, but they're not going to do that. Why would they do that? They're going to make you buy the new one.
The old one works with the PS5 through an adapter for the camera, which I have. But GT7, I don't think will be updated.
It's going to require the new one. Yeah, that makes sense. That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, they were advancing pretty quick, so hopefully, it's got all the head tapping and all that in the new one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool if you like really realistic racers. This is the one.
It's a solid pick. This is my first GT game I've ever played, and I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's not a new game. Yeah, this is the first one I played since like the PS2.
Yeah.
Which back then you got the Gran Turismo for PS2 because again, it was like, this thing looks way better than everything else. Like, PS2, check it out. So I pretty much got this for the same reason.
Yeah, I mean, it's a showpiece of the PlayStation.
Yeah,
the last one I played was on PS1, the old Gran Turismo.
Oh, the original.
Yeah, it was fun back then.
It was like 3, I think, for PS2. I think, I don't remember. It might have been 2 or 3. Was the first one I played.
Yeah,
and the last one I played.
So my number 5 is Pokemon Violet, a showpiece of graphical fidelity as is Gran Turismo.
Oh, it's number 5. Okay,
it's number 5. It was higher on my list, and then I started playing Persona, and I had a moment where it's like, Damn, Persona's so good. I gotta move Pokemon way down here.
You
It made
mean
the
that all
list.
the other games worked and you weren't able to get that one?
It made the list.
No criteria
I
for
really
this
did.
list.
So I'm the only one here that has actually. Well, Aaron, you played it.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. John has not played it.
I have not.
But I had a really amazing experience with this game. I did not have the graphical hitches that everyone had. It really was a fun experience. I had a few, funny glitches and stuff like that. But overall, hell of an experience. Like the new monster designs, top notch. Like one of the best generations by far, as far as the new monsters. This is one of the few Pokemon games I've done the complete Pokedex for this region. I have complete living Pokedex, as many people know. But I've often done that through getting just the monsters of that generation, the new ones, not every single one available in the game. So this time I have done that, and that was a really cool experience, chasing them all down, doing the trading with other people, and that's and the approach of discovering this world is really fun. They don't tell you where to go, so I was encountering some creatures and bosses earlier than I should have, and it made for a challenge, and I had to enjoy the challenge. And they give you a map at the end of the game. Here's your order you did things, so you can kind of compare it to how other people experienced the game.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and kind of they had like they had the team Rocket equivalent of these different areas where your Pokemon are kind of like
Team Star.
Team Star, thank you, Aaron. They had these fights where you're like entering these areas and your Pokemon's kind of free roaming and attacking. Then you finish it up with a boss fight. You're fighting this big car type thing, and they had some cool ideas, I think, in this one. And it really evolved from Arceus to, I think, kind of a realization of what this could be in a full-fledged Pokemon game. And I really enjoyed it, and I'm curious to see what they do next, kind of building on this and cleaning up the tech, because it's not perfect by any means, but it is fun. And this game proves that even a game that is not a technical masterpiece can still be a great deal of fun to enjoy. So, Pokemon Violet.
If I had a tier list for the worst games of all time, it would definitely be on there.
Oh, that's real.
However,
real. I had so much fun though, Aaron.
Oof.
I think your Switch is just cursed and doesn't perform.
No, I think I just have a first gen Switch and they just didn't optimize it. Because
I think that's must be it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people with like the day one Switches were having issues.
Because I talked to a friend that has the battery upgrade Switch, the 1.5, not the OLED, but the one, and he had a great experience as well with this. No big graphical things that were bothering him with his gameplay. So I think the launch day Switch is just, yeah, it's rough.
Yeah. Well, I do need a new one. I mean, it is kind of aged. I mean, you can definitely tell by looking at it that it has been through
Zelda,
some
man.
stuff. I mean, I took that thing around with me for like 2 years, like everywhere. So
did you see the leaks of the Zelda one, the OLED Zelda one?
No.
Oh, no.
Yeah, there's apparently going to be an OLED Zelda one.
That does not surprise me at all.
Leaked online, yeah. They're like white Joy-Con with gold, on them and stuff. Yeah.
You know what a softie I am for unique controllers.
Well, there you go.
I can't do it though.
$350 system.
I can't do it. I have my OLED.
You can get a Steam Deck for that.
I have Zelda Joy-Cons already from the last Zelda game that came out, the blue ones, the gold trim. So I can't do it again. No.
But my number 4 was the other good Pokemon game of the year.
I didn't even think of that. This is just merging really well.
Yeah. So Pokemon Legends Arceus, whatever.
Arceus is how I
Arceus, yeah. That one was a lot of fun. I just remember like my whole month of January, I was playing that game. Pretty much from like when it came out until like Elden Ring came out, I was playing that. So
it was a good one.
Yeah.
Did you finish the story in it?
I did finish the story, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I thought it was definitely less ambitious than I thought Violet, but I think it executed very well.
Yeah, I feel like the story allowed me to focus on really what I wanted to do, was just like go around and collect certain Pokemon and stuff and look for shinies and
Yeah.
all that stuff. And then whenever I got kind of bored, I could just go do a couple of stories and then just go back to
And I
collecting
love
stuff.
that you can just throw the Pokeball and
Yeah.
not even battle things. That's great.
Yeah. And that you could kind of like target what you're looking for. So when you knew where they spawned or whatever, you could like they had like the mass outbreaks and things like that. That was a lot of fun.
Very cool. Anything else worth saying on that one?
It played. It played. Whereas
It
I
played.
couldn't say that. It ran, yeah.
It ran.
I couldn't say that about the other one.
You had more than 2 frames a second.
Yep.
Okay, excellent. 4 for John.
4 is kind of weird for me. 4 is weird for me because I was trying to. I have these 2 games that I want to put on the list, but I decided to put them together because they kind of go together for 2 reasons.
Yes.
Both because they're super arcadey, and both because I played a lot with my brother this year.
Okay.
Me and my brother gone back in the playing video games together, like physically in person. This thing we used to do as kids, and we now have like, you know, his kids go to sleep, I come over, you know, we play games. Pretty cool. So number 4 is a tie between Cruisin' Blast, which is really a lot of fun if you like racing games, arcade racing games, and Shredder's Revenge, which came out and which is really, really good. And it's really, really good with someone there with you playing just like in the arcade. But it looks so good because it's doing all the, you know, it's got all these modern techniques. That's the
new one, right?
It's the new one, yes. Yeah. It is awesome.
It's a good year for Turtles.
Oh, man, it's a great year for Turtles. And Turtles are going to have a great year coming up because they got the new animated movie coming out, which is styled after the original comics. So it's supposed to look really, really more, you know, like the Ninja Turtles did when we grew up. But yeah, Shredder's Revenge, totally worth picking up. You know, it's not going to be the longest game. Like you could probably play through most of it in a couple hours sitting, I think. We got through most of it just in one night. But it's a lot of fun. And Cruisin' Blast, again, if you have some friends to play with and you want something that feels like arcadey, that game's fun. You know, you unlock all sorts of vehicles, like a helicopter, a flying saucer. You know, you're racing a flying saucer against people. It's a lot of fun. So,
yeah, those cruising games are always fun at like the arcade. I always thought, but I don't know how well I would enjoy it as, like, you know, whenever I'm at home.
Did you
feel
never
like I wouldn't have the same incentive?
Did you never play Cruisin' USA on N64?
I did a little bit, but it wasn't something I felt like I could, you know, jump in and play for a long period of time. It was just kind of like, oh, I'll do this for a few minutes and then just move on. Yeah.
The thing about Cruisin', the old ones, is the pop-in is so because they're trying to make it like run at 60, like they literally had the things appear like
right in front of you.
5 feet in front of you.
Yeah, sometimes I would go off the track and all of a sudden the tree just right in front
of you.
The tree
appears in front of you. Oh man.
One game I wish they would come out with is a modern version of Road Rash. Something really satisfying about being on a motorcycle with a bat or nunchucks, just whacking people trying to pass you.
I forgot about that.
Road Rash 64. What a classic.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That should come back. I don't know if that would be like, I don't know, canceled because it's like violent.
Violent.
I don't know.
No, violence is okay.
Yeah, violence is all
just not sexual. You just can't be sexual in America. You can be violent.
That's true.
Yep.
That's true.
But you have to cover every inch of the body.
That's how we are in America. Number 4 for me is a game that it used to be my number 2, and then I played some more stuff and had some more introspective moments. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is my number 4. I really enjoyed the heck out of this game. Really solid game. Really incredible story. Really good gameplay. And it runs great on the Switch. It's beautiful on the Switch. Both handheld and docked. Like, this is a marvel of what you can do on a Switch. And I wish I could have put it higher, but I think some of the other games were more deserving here. But that said, this is like, I think, the best overall Xenoblade game as far as combination of gameplay, story, and just the characters in general and everything. Xenoblade 1 will always be special to me, but I think, if I'm being honest, this is just the pinnacle of what they've done here. And those flutes, man. Those flutes are the music's really good. You saw in the Game Awards, the flutes, they're off the
thing. Yeah, the flute guy.
Yeah, they handmade.
Is that guy in the game?
Well, they handmade flutes. The composer had enough pull where they had these custom made like $10,000 flutes created for this game.
What?
So, yeah, it's kind of odd. Look it up online. There's a whole story about the composer creating these.
That's
flutes.
Crazy.
And the flutes are physical embodiments of flutes that appear in the game, which is really cool. But yeah, really solid game. It fixes a lot of things that 2 did wrong. I love 2. I think I like 2's story a bit better, how connected. But 3 brought in some really wild things that brought together the first 2 into this one in some cool ways. Yeah, so Xenoblade. I think that's all I have to say on that one. It's solid JRPG, and a very long game, but not the longest game on my list so far.
It's like the year of RPGs for you.
It really is, looking back at it. Yeah.
But you still haven't played Final Fantasy.
I've never touched the Final Fantasy. Well, I have played. I played like 2 hours of 7 Remake. I need to get back to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Aaron, we're up to your number 3 here.
Yeah, number 3. I already talked a bit about this one, but The Witcher 3.
Witcher 3, number 3.
Yeah. So this one, although it came out a long time ago, I did just really get into it at the end of last year. But it also did come out with the next gen update, their 4.0 patch. So yeah, it's been pretty fun. I'm kind of dreading, like I was saying, going back into it though. So
yeah,
it's gonna be a while.
A breather might be good.
You love a game when you're dreading to go back into it.
Well, I do really like the game. Yeah.
Hours, yeah.
It's like 103 hours, and then I'm like, okay, do I want to spend at least another 100 hours in here? I don't know.
I would take a breather, Aaron. I can't imagine going to New Game Plus for Persona 5 right now after doing what I did with that. Even though I loved it, you just need a breather, I think.
Yeah, but there's so much more story that I haven't even touched with the DLC and all the side quests. Like, I feel like it might give me a whole new experience. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
No, I would personally hold off for that experience. Have a different experience and come back to that experience.
Yeah, we'll
after,
see.
Like, you do like a quick 10-hour game. Just
to
cleanse the palate, as they say.
Yeah. Yeah, that might be good. But yeah, it's really good. I definitely recommend it. It's like a huge game. I think it's a really good like value, especially on sale. So I picked it up for I think like $30. And
yeah, that's what I picked up at as well. Yeah.
So that's all I got to say
still
about
waiting
that
for
one.
when I want to play this because there's a lot of stuff on the playlist. So
yeah,
very cool. John, you're number 3.
Number 3, Many Motorways.
Another racing game.
No, it's not a racing game.
It's not a racing game.
It is a...
Oh, the management.
It is it is kind of a resource management simulator type puzzle game, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Where you're building motorways and you have to manage the traffic, and there's different color cars, and you have to manage the cars going from one place to the other. I guess work from home back and forth. And if you don't manage it well, they get overflowed and stopped up in one spot and you lose. And you just have to keep building and building, and you earn more different roads. You can do roundabouts, 4-way stops, and of course motorways where you can link, highways together. And it's just really fun and relaxing. And like, if you just want to put something on and not think very much, this is my dream. Like something simple like this. The visuals are really great. Love it. Really clean, modern looking, not like graphically heavy.
This was Switch,
but they have it on Switch. I play it on iOS and on my Mac a little bit, but mostly on my iPad.
Oh, Apple Arcade?
It is an Apple Arcade game, I think, too. Yeah, but I think you can also get it now in other places.
Okay, cool.
I think it's one of those Apple Arcade games where you can get it outside of Apple Arcade, but you also get it if you're in Apple Arcade. Like they have a paid version outside.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's for Switch too. Let me see. Get it. But yeah,
so this is a Zen management game, not
this is a Zen. This is not hectic.
Like,
well, it can get kind of hectic. But I find it very Zen because I like managing stuff like this. And I like I love SimCity, Sim games, things like that.
Yeah.
Mini Motorways is on Switch. It is $15 on Switch.
Okay.
Probably just recommend if you have a phone getting it on. Well,
it's a pretty non-annoying phone game as far as
no. I don't think there are any in-app purchases.
Okay.
But it's perfect for touch, which is why it's on Switch, because you're just touching parts of,
Okay.
You're I can't do this. I'm blind.
Right.
You're connecting things in the city to each other.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun.
Cool.
So there you go. Yeah, Mini Motorway.
Yeah.
It's worth playing.
My number 3 is Kirby and the Forgotten Land. This is
this year.
This is the game Kirby needed to reinvigorate the series. So Kirby is a game that you just smile the entire time you're playing it. It's just a game. It's like joy bottled up inside a video game. It's basically Kirby. It's like encapsulated joy, and this game just reeks of joy. It's just like joy all over the place, and the creativity just never stops. It just continues. Every level there's something unique and delightful about it, and this game. Many levels put the Soulsborne games to a fight. It gets challenging towards the end. Like some of these levels in the end game and towards the end are bloody difficult for a Nintendo game if it's on just the regular. Or I had it on the harder mode. I forget what it was called. It was kind of a funny name for hard mode, but it gets hard. So Kirby does have a challenge in this game towards the end there, and just endlessly delightful of Kirby swallowing cars and wheels and all sorts of stuff, transforming in different ways, and just endlessly delightful, and a game I think I'll come back to at a certain time to just re-experience it, because every now and then you just need a smile from Kirby, and that's what this game brings you.
Yeah, and it's getting like a re-release or like deluxe edition.
No, next year is a remake of the Wii game. The Return to Dreamland is next year.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Or in February. So coming soon. Yeah.
Oh, that's actually a pretty good Kirby game. That's the one that came out really late.
It was like one of the last Wii games.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one.
Oh, I forgot.
This was like the Mario Odyssey of Kirby games. So it's, it's a special moment for Kirby. I hope they continue on with this trajectory because I think it sold really well. Really, really good direction of Kirby having this more open world type thing, open level, I should say. But yeah, I'm excited for the new Kirby coming out this year. The new old Kirby.
Cool.
So we get to Aaron's number 2. Getting to the final ones here.
Oh yeah, my number 2 was the old God of War, and I just counted them both since I just experienced them both for the first time.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's kind of one story in piece.
It is really, yeah, because when you complete the first one, there's like a little dream sequence or whatever, and it says 3 years later. I know that was something that you missed in your first playthrough. I thought, or maybe.
I didn't notice the 3 years later part. I know a certain character shows up and he was scary and kind of drunk.
Yeah, and then you like like right after that scene, it like cuts to black and it says 3 years later, and then that's when you open up to just like the open world. So you're just like doing your stuff.
Oh,
And
I totally
then
missed that. Yeah.
yeah, and then when the second game starts, you have that dream happens, or like the dream comes to life. So
Yeah.
you are actually seeing 3 years in the future. And it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's neat. But both gameplay and story hooked you on these?
Yeah. The story I think was a lot better than like the gameplay, because I was expecting the gameplay to be more like classic God of War that I was used to, where it's just like, you know, just a bunch of kind of chaos, like just mashing buttons and stuff. But this one was more about like kind of your character building and creating like your own kind of build. The combat was a little bit slower, but it was still fun and challenging. It looks really good, especially the second one, God of War Ragnarok. It was fun getting the platinums on that. Yeah.
Yeah, you got both of them, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the platinum Ragnarok. I still need to go back to the first one, get the platinum there. Did the surprise halfway through the first game, was that a surprise to you when that moment happened?
I don't remember a surprise halfway through.
Okay.
You can just say, I mean, the game's 4 years
old.
It is. So
spoilers for God of War 2018. The moment when you go back to your house to retrieve your blades of chaos.
Oh, yeah. So I had already known that you were going to get those weapons at some point.
Okay.
I think I had seen some stuff, like some combat where he was using them. So I knew it was coming at some point. But I really liked the lead up to it, because
that's so great.
Yeah, where you like hop in this boat and you're going down this river, and he's just like having these like thoughts, kind of like talking to himself and hearing things from the previous games, like where like Athena's talking to him and stuff. It was really cool.
Yeah. Did we spoil that for you, John?
No, yeah, it's ruined.
Okay.
Well,
I won't. Even if I played the game, I would not remember anything you just said.
You never played the originals, did you?
Nope. Okay. I missed out on the whole God of War.
Yeah, before 2018 came out, I actually played the original trilogy, and they're still kind of fun today. I enjoyed those, especially 3. 3 holds up especially well, because there was a PS4 remake of the third game that looks great still. Yeah, very cool. John, you're number 2.
Number two is for me, Spider-Man, Miles Morales.
Very cool.
And that's all I have to say about that. No, I'm just kidding. It's it was
This is your first game on the PlayStation 5, right?
This was the first game I played on the PS. Well, yes, yeah, I'd say that's accurate. It's the one I dived into the most, the ones that connected with the most out of all the ones I got at first. Just because it looks so good, like, you know, it was one of those things where I was like coming from the Switch as my main console to a PS5, and I'm playing like Miles Morales. I'm like, wow, look at this!
Look at this!
Yeah. And on top of that, it is a really fun game. I enjoyed going through it. I even stuck around and did some of the missions and stuff afterwards. You know, I got, I think, like 80-something% completion.
Yeah.
Just because I was having so much fun slinging around and doing these missions, and the combat's really good. Yeah, like I got me excited about Spider-Man. I used to be in Spider-Man as a kid. The last Spider-Man game I played was probably like the Game Boy Color Spider-Man. It's been a while, so I'm gonna go back and play the first one, or the one before this.
Yeah. Got to be ready for Spider-Man 2 coming out.
And then exactly, Spider-Man 2 will come out, and I'll be ready for it, and I'll play that. So, yeah.
You swing around the city just feels so good.
It just feels so good, yeah. And the suits, there's so many different cool suit options. Like, there's just a lot in this game.
And it's just a nice, compact story. I think it's like 8 hours.
Story. It flows really well. I think, again,
there's no
coming
fluff
from Switch, this is a very cinematic experience. You're jumping in and out from cutscenes into, fighting and action and stuff like that, where, it just feels really good.
So I'm not sure how this one is. I'm sure it's pretty similar to the first one, but one of the things I was noticing in the first one on PC is that I would do a little bit of story and then I would kind of get lost in just going around the city and doing like the side stuff, like those little crime things and all that. And then once I went back to the quest, I totally forgot what was going on in the story. So yeah.
This one's story is pretty straightforward because it's kind of a thing between Miles and a good friend of his, the relationship, and kind of discovering, who that person really is, and who I guess Miles really is, because he learns about it stuff about his uncle too. But yeah, the story it's not like nothing to write home about, like, because it's a pretty textbooks comic book story. So I could definitely see, like, if I left the game, came back within a week, I'd be like, all right, what am I supposed to do? Definitely plenty of moments where you could drop off and there's not like a big the moments aren't leaving you like, wow, I gotta, it's not story driven. I think it's more like action driven. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's nothing where you're going to walk away and go, I really got to continue because the story's so good. You're going to want to keep going because the gameplay is really good. And it's just fun to be in the game.
I played this on PS4 Pro. I didn't play either of the Spider-Mans on PS5. I should probably look that up and see how that is.
Yeah, no, it was good. I got the PS5 version. It was pretty good price. It came with both games for like
you get the
$60 or something. Yeah. So it wasn't bad. Like, I think that's totally fair for getting 2 games.
Yeah, I need to go back and experience those again before Spider-Man 2, I think.
But yeah, Spider-Man's cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. And it's kind of cool to see like the Majora's Mask formula kind of come back. They have like the main game, and then you kind of have like a spin-off come out like pretty soon after, which is like
Insomniac is a marvel as far as like pumping out the games. They had Spider-Man Miles Morales, then Ratchet and Clank, A Rift Apart, then Spider-Man 2 is going to be this year. They're working on Wolverine. Like, I don't know how they create these, masterpieces. I mean,
what happens when you get bought by Sony.
I mean, some studios take a good 5, 6, 7 years to create their games in Sony.
Yeah.
But Insomniac, they're on top of it. They have a good pipeline.
It's right in the name. That's why Insomniac. They're up all the time. Yeah.
There you go.
They don't sleep.
So my number 2 is a game I just finished, Persona 5 Royal. Boy, oh boy, is this an amazing game. My first Persona game I've ever played. I've always been curious about them, but never so curious to actually play them. Then I saw this on sale for $29 on the Switch. And great console for this game. The Switch and Persona. A nice long game like this. Throw in sleep mode if you need to pause for a second. Because there are save rooms in Persona 5, so if you're not able to put your PS5 in like rest mode, that would be a problem trying to like put it down for a minute to go back to it. And be able to just put your Switch in sleep, turn it back on, get going again. The art style makes really good use. The OLED Switch looks really beautiful. In many moments of this game, it's kind of like a visual novel where the art style just looks great as you're finishing a battle, something like that. The story, at first, I thought this is an okay story, but by the end of this game, it gets so deep with these characters, and you can do these like love interest things. And my character was a boyfriend to 2 characters by the end of the game, and it seemed that everything was going well with that. But on Valentine's Day rolled around, and I had to not answer the phone for one of the girlfriends, and she got really angry at me, and I had to make it up for, I guess in Japan, a month after Valentine's Day, there's this like holiday as well, and I had a super special date with her a month after, and all was forgiven pretty much. But the Royal Edition really does build on the base game. I was reading up on what it added, and the whole like end of the game is dramatically different. Like the final boss fight in the main game would end, and you think it'd be over. But with Royal, it kind of builds on this whole metaverse thing where you're going in. So these characters kind of can go into the metaverse to change people's hearts. So these evil people, they can go inside their thoughts and kind of make them see the error in their ways, and make these bad people, realize how bad they are. And in this one, the ending of Royal, you have to go in one final time to make things totally right. And I don't want to spoil the story, but it basically does this in a really smart way. There's a brand new character introduced in this game. This psychiatrist person that's like a member of the school faculty, and he turns into a big character that I didn't realize was like a new addition to this game, but totally was. And the palaces, the dungeon design of this final dungeon was really smartly designed, really different as far as from the stuff that precedes it. And that is another thing I really love about Persona 5 is the dungeons are also unique. It's not a copy cutter kind of like design. You have a ship, you're on a literal ship for one of them, a casino for another. There's all these different really smart designs, and that's something I really appreciated about it. And then as you build up your character in the real world, you have these relationships, as I was talking about. You can become a boyfriend, girlfriend with certain characters. And you can build up good relationships with like a parental figure as well. And some of the social connections I didn't realize until I beat the main game. I stumbled across a couple. It's like, oh, this would have been useful like for the first couple dungeons, but I had no idea this character was even here. So like if I did another playthrough, I'd probably approach it much differently with the social connections. Because I was approaching this game a lot from powering up my character in the gym. So by the end of this game, I had maxed out HP of 999. And my SP was like 702 out of probably 999. So my character was like a tank. He could handle anything. But I probably would have done more time with some social connections if I had known they existed. I kind of missed out on some of that stuff. But yeah, really incredible experience. It took me 104 hours to beat it. I was telling you guys in chat that the final boss fight, Royal, had me so frustrated because there were these regenerating enemies that you need to knock out to do damage to the main enemy. And then I realized I changed out my party, and the characters I had in there were like super weak to the boss. So every time he'd attack, he'd get like 2 free bonus attacks after that, which just went away once it changed out the characters. So changing out the party really can make a difference in these RPGs. It turns out.
Yep, you gotta look at those weaknesses.
You really do. So yeah. I guess that is all I'll say on Persona 5 for now.
Yeah, that game reminded me a lot of like Persona 4 kind of mixed with Psychonauts.
Yeah.
So when like Psychonauts, you have to go into people's brains and kind of like the level is based off of their persona kind of.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and the Persona, they're like different, almost like Pokemon that you kind of like mesh with, and they do moves on your behalf. And yeah, it is a turn-based RPG, so you can just put it down if it's your turn and no worry about time and stuff. I was looking at the time to beat on Persona 3 and 4, which are now out for Switch or soon will be. And they're only like 65 hours. It's like, oh, these are nice short Persona games compared to this 104-hour one. So I am tempted to play 4 and 3 at some point. Yeah, each one has been getting longer and longer, it appears, which is interesting. So Persona 6, I'm curious how long that game will be.
Yeah.
So Persona, great game. Aaron, you're on number 1.
My number one, no surprise, is Elden Ring, the greatest game ever made.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, I beat the game 3 times this year. So I played I played it first when it came out. I played it second time on PC. Then a few months went by, and then I got my PS5, and then I was like, well, let me play it again. And I platinumed it on PS5, and it's interesting because the more you play that game, you just get so much better. Like you start just learning the moves and like you know where to go. And like so this time I was like, I know exactly like the build I want. So I was able to just go around to parts of the map exactly, pick up the weapons I want. And then it was like super easy mode. Like I was able to beat some of the bosses in like 3 hits that I had like super hard time on my first playthrough. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you feel like
so good, isn't it?
Yeah, you feel super powerful, and yeah.
How many times did you beat Millennia?
Twice.
Okay.
So yeah, I did not beat her the first time through. I was like, I just couldn't do it, and I was just like, no.
She's tricky.
Yeah, but the key to beating her is using magic. So if you use magic and just stay back, it's super easy. Especially if you use if you mix up a flask that will improve like your magic and stuff. So
yeah, I think it did the hard way of having physical attacks.
Yeah. What I did is I just put on like the heaviest armor, which made me like slow and everything, but you just stay back far enough she can't even touch you. You use like the mimic with like all the heaviest armor too, and your mimic just stands there and tanks everything.
Yeah, the mimic is such a brilliant thing. So you can load up your mimic with certain weapons, and you can change after the mimic summons your weapons again. Loadouts,
but you gotta be fast.
You do.
Yeah, there's no pausing in that game.
That is the most frustrating thing about From Software games. The no pausing.
Yeah,
I don't even know how to play that game. Really. But today, like it'd be so hard. I'd need to. Yeah, I guess I'd quit every single time I need to do anything.
Yeah.
Anyways.
You get pretty good at it. Like you can move around when the menus are up. So, there's a little bit of translucent background, but it still kind of blocks out a lot of what you're seeing. So.
Yeah. You enjoyed it the most your first time through, or did it?
Oh yeah, that was one of those games. It's kind of like Breath of the Wild, where it's like your first experience. Everything's so new. And you can't really recapture that moment. Each time I've gone through it, I think back to the first time I experienced this thing, and it was just like so crazy. I mean, it has one of those scenes where you walk out and you see the world for the first time, kind of like the Breath of the Wild reveal. And when you fight some of those bosses for the first time and are trying to learn all of their moves and stuff, that can't really be like recreated again, and it's just like so like unique. It's probably like one of those gaming experiences I will never forget, whereas like Breath of the Wild is kind of faded now, but like Elden Ring, I still think about that all the time, and just how challenging it was, and like rewarding when you like finally figure something out and beat a boss, or find like a unique weapon that like someone else doesn't have or something. It's pretty cool.
And there's a moment involving an elevator that is also very stunning, to say the least.
An elevator. I remember a couple of elevators in the game.
Yes. Well,
I think there's like 3.
We'll have to chat later about the elevator.
Yeah.
Anyways, anything else in Elden
Ring? I don't know. I could go on and on about this game. It looks so good. And it plays really well. Yeah.
Very cool.
I mean, it was one of the games that lived up to the hype. It actually like surpassed the hype, I believe. So
it certainly did. Yeah. John, you're number 1. Can I guess? Splatoon 3? Yes.
That's it. Yeah, you got it.
See, John's is the only one that's not in our document, so it's a total surprise.
Oh, really? Oh, whoops. Yep. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's a total surprise.
but I only guess it. Because of course, you're a Splatoon head. I mean,
I guess I am. Yeah. Yeah.
He's an inkling.
I'm an inkling.
You're an inkling.
I'm a kid. I'm a squid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what I wanted. It's more Splatoon. It's nothing radical. It's more and better. And so far it seems better balanced. I'm really digging it. Really liking the Splatfest they've done so far. It's just, it's really good. I'm really happy with it. I think by the time the fourth one rolls around, I'll be ready for a bigger change. But for this one, I'm really happy with that. It's just more and better. And that's what they did. They didn't go and rewrite anything. It's just more and it's better. And that's all I wanted. So I'm happy.
Okay. Yeah, and they're bringing back some of the original maps and stuff, and the seasonal approach is a nice change.
Seasonal approaches, it's been pretty cool because there's like things now you can't get if you join the game now that that were in from last season. It's been cool. They've added like the emotes, so you can change how your character jumps and dances at the end. All those little things that are cool that let you customize it. You got your own locker. You can put your bunch of crap in the locker. I haven't really done the locker thing. But it's cool that they're it's
who are your favorite hosts? You had Callie and Marie last time. Like, of the 3 sets, do you have a favorite set?
That's got to be Callie and Marie.
Yeah.
Still, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, no, love it, love it. Get it if you don't have it, play it. It's still, they're still adding stuff, so it's got a lot of leg left in it. So
nice. So I kind of cheated. My number 1 technically is God of War Ragnarok, but that's only because I excluded all the From Software games from my list because that would have just been the entire list for the entire year. I thought that might not be probably good to do.
Hey, it's your list.
It's my list. So my list is a long list because I also include those as a separate kind of ranking there. But God of War Ragnarok, very emotional game, dealing with fatherhood, and that the stuff hits pretty hard. And the gameplay was so good, and these From Software games that I've been playing this year have prepared me for God of War Ragnarok. I felt like a master of parrying. I could parry. So I could do things I couldn't do in the first game because my skills were not tuned quite yet from the Elden Ring and Dark Souls torture and delight that I went through this year. But beautiful game. Really showed off what the PS5 can do. And looks great. I moved down to a monitor set up downstairs versus PS5 remote play and PS4 remote play is how I experienced games prior. So I finally got to experience a big meaty game on dedicated gaming monitor. So that was really cool to experience this way. So, yeah.
Yeah, one thing that's really cool about that game is how they did the post-game stuff. So once you complete the game, there's still some side quests to do. Yeah, and as you go through to collect things, there's a lot of like dialogue that opens up between the characters, like just talking about the past and explaining some things more.
There's some very hard-hitting stuff just in the post game. Like,
it's like a whole new game. I mean, it's like
it was a good 10
kind of
to 15
weird.
hours.
Yeah,
game for me.
It's like, why did they not include that in the main game? I don't know, because I feel like a lot of people are just gonna finish the game and then just stop. They're not gonna go finish all this stuff.
I will say Sony's marketing emails are on point now. Like when you finish the game, it'll say congrats, there's still more to do, and you get the platinum. Like they're like following up with their marketing emails based on what you're playing, which is smart.
I haven't seen that. I set up my PlayStation stuff with an email that I don't check very often. So
gotcha.
But I mean, I did that for a reason.
Yes,
I do that for a lot of things.
Gotcha. So, that being said, technically Pokemon Violet should probably be my honorable mention, and From Software is my technical number 1. beginning with Elden Ring. Aaron nagged me for weeks on end. Tim, gotta play Elden Ring. And I was like, I don't really like hard games, Aaron. It's like I'm not really
rewarding.
Into this. And I
Yeah.
eventually caved, and I got Elden Ring, and that started my year of From Software. And I platinumed all of the From Software games I played this year. I've played all of them for modern consoles except for Dark Souls 3. I'm still waiting to play that whenever I can find time to play that at this point. But Elden Ring, I think, being my first experience with From Software, is, I think, my favorite one, just being such a fresh new thing. And as Aaron was saying, the exploration and just relentlessness of this game was great. You had lots of amazing quiet moments exploring this place, and you had some very bizarre moments of different character and enemy encounters. You had this pothead guy, had the pots.
His name was Alexander.
Alexander. That was such a fun quest.
Yeah.
And he had some very just cinematic battles for that one. You know, all the NPCs kind of help you out for this big battle with the sky opening up is wild. The map, how big it gets, is just bonkers. You think you found the whole map, and then you find something that like doubles the map. It's wild how big this game is.
Yeah, and it changes. So there's at least one area in the game that's huge, and you get to a part in the game, and then it changes completely. So you can go back to it, and it's all covered.
Yeah. And I spent so many hours just stealth killing high-leveled enemies in an area I shouldn't be, to just like max out my character to get through some earlier areas. And that was a fun just meta of just like, how can I cheese the system to like OP my character early on? And that was a fun experience. I did some wacko things just to get high leveled. Aaron showed me the way in some of those areas to do that.
Yeah. Are you talking about the area that had a bunch of those like little guys, the little militia? Yeah. That's probably the best farming area early on.
Yeah. And occasionally I'd fail and die and hope I make it back to my souls. Or what do you call them in this game?
They are runes.
Runes, that's right, yes. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Elden Ring, phenomenal. My second, I have 6 games on my From Software list that I've platinumed this year. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is the next one. And this is probably the most other unique one of the From Software games. And this game has a very... this is the game I played when I was deathly ill with a very bad cold over the summer. And I don't know if I could have beaten this game if I was not on a sick bed all to myself. I'd play this game for like 5-6 hours a day or more, and I'd play these boss fights that took me like probably 4 hours sometimes to get through. And this is a game you can't cheese to get through. Like in all the Dark Souls and Elden Ring, you can level up your character through farming. This game you can't do that. This game you have to get good. And this is a game I felt that I became a master by the end, and had sweaty palms in some of the fights, and it was one of the most emotionally, draining and emotionally powerful things I played this year, just with the sheer challenge involved. This is the hardest game I've ever beaten in my entire life, I would say. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Because there's no cheesing it, and there was no way about it. And and the rewards were so great, because after you beat a fight in this game, it just felt so good. And my Apple Watch can attest, my heart rate got very high. And so I looked down, it's like my heart rate's like 160, just laying down in bed playing this game. It's like there's some very, you're one hit away from dying, and you've tried this boss fight like 20 times, and like, can I do it? And there were a lot of boss fights in this game that just blew your mind. Just like these like evolutions of the boss after you thought you beat them, and then there's other stuff that happens. This
really one seems like it would be very challenging, because it takes the formula that you're used to with all of the other Souls games, except it strips you from all of your choice. and you just have to go through the game.
You do. You have to get good at parrying.
Yeah.
Like in the other games, you can choose a magic build or a strength build. You have one build. You can't like farm to get your HP super high to like fake your way through it. You got to learn it. And YouTube was helpful in like watching other people play this game. Like, how are they doing this? And so that was quite an experience. Third up is Bloodborne. This was the game I played after Elden Ring. And it's a very good game. It's a very unique story, very cool story. Very different game as far as the pairings involved with your gun. And this is an excellent game. I'm not sure what else to say on Bloodborne because I don't want to spend 5 hours on From Software. But very much...
It has a very different art style. It's kind of like a gothic.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And I understand why people love this game and want a sequel. Like I've been hearing people talk about Bloodborne forever. And I actually have a memory of when this game initially came out. I was at a friend's house. He was playing Bloodborne. And I had no interest in ever playing this game. This looks just ridiculous. But now I understand.
Yeah.
And then next up, a surprising one, Dark Souls 2. This is the first game I didn't need. So I played this one last of my list here. This is the first game I didn't really need guidance on. All the other games I'd look up, some guides and some help on like how to progress and make it through these games. I need my hand a little bit held to make it through some of these games. This game I didn't need my hand held. So I feel like by the time I got to my 6th game of Dark Souls 2, I become a master From Software and could actually just play these games and experience it fresh without any help. And that makes me very excited for Dark Souls 3 and the other From Software games to experience them without having my handheld, just be able to just jump into a FromSoft game and experience it. This game is much different in that you can completely empty out the world by killing enemies, I think, 12 times. So there would be areas of this game that were just empty by the time I finished it, which was a very satisfying thing to do.
Yeah, I haven't played this one, but I've heard kind of mostly like negative things about this one. A lot of people don't like that part about how you can clear things out and stuff like that. But I've heard some other things. I don't recall exactly what it is, but I just remember people having a lot of frustration with this one. Yeah. I
think in retrospect that people have come around on what this actually being a decent and pretty good of the Dark Souls. And it's different. Like, I have not played 3, but I hear it's very similar to 1. This is a very unique game. The story is really good in this one. And if after you clear an area out, you can do stuff to repopulate it with even harder enemies to get even more souls. So even that concern is nullified because you have ways of eliminating that if you want to do some farming. The number 5 is Dark Souls. I played this both on PS5 and Switch, and I understand why this became the thing that broke this developer out. The interconnectedness of the world is just phenomenal, and really cool story, and just really great combat in all these games. And then 6, Demon's Souls for PS5. Beyond beautiful of a game. I tried playing this before Elden Ring and instantly got frustrated and gave up after about an hour. And then I came back to it after, I think, Bloodborne, and realized how great this game is, especially as a magic build. And at some point, I do want to revisit it. It is just so beautiful. And this shows what a From Software game can be if it's developed by somebody that has more technical prowess than From Software does. Yeah. So that's my From Software list. And I spent so much time in From Software. I would, 111 hours in Dark Souls 2. I probably spent collectively, around 500 hours in these games this year.
Now you just need to get into PvP.
Oh, hell no. Oh, I gotta say, the PvP stuff is a lot of fun in these games. I would get invaded in Dark Souls on the Switch quite often, and by that point, I was getting pretty good at Dark Souls and was winning a lot of these PvP matches. And that gets fun when you win, when they invade you and you destroy them. That's so satisfying. It's like you're trying to come here, ruin my stuff. One person invaded me in Dark Souls 1 when I got to the very bottom of this poison pit right before the bonfire. This is a very long stretch to try to get through. And I was so freaking angry at this guy, but I beat him. So I was very happy with that. So, anyways. PvP.
Yeah, I prefer to play that one not online. it's frustrating because I mean it's been out for so long. People know that game like in and out, and they will just like do things to just make you not have a good time.
Yeah, there's a boss fight. I think it's in the first game where it's a PvP boss fight. It's wild. You connect it can be very difficult to beat this boss, and you're connecting to another player, and they're the boss. It's kind of a wild concept.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So that's that. This is a very long episode. I'm looking at. We're almost 2 hours here. Any other games of note that we should mention before wrapping up?
RuneScape. RuneScape is a great game. It's only 22 years old.
Okay.
21 maybe, I don't know, but yeah, last year was also a good game or a good year for RuneScape. It almost made my list.
You played like so much of this, didn't you?
Yeah, I play a lot. Check my playtime right now, but it's over thousands of hours right now. So
wild.
Yeah. Last year they had like an update where one of the areas on the map, they totally changed it. So it just got destroyed and something else replaced it. And I had a lot of fun playing around in that new area. So yeah.
Very cool. Any final words, John?
No.
Okay.
Looking forward to this next year of new stuff. Zelda,
May 12th. Could not come here soon.
Finally.
Oh man. Yeah, I think next episode we'll have to like talk about some of the stuff we're looking forward to this upcoming year. We certainly don't have time for that now.
Yeah. It's gonna be a big year for games for sure.
Yeah, it will. I am excited. Let's get that Spider-Man 2. Excited.
Get all those COVID releases finally coming out.
Yeah, really.
I know. Oh yeah, we got Jedi Fallen Order 2.
Yeah.
Man, that'll be good. Anyways. Aaron, any final words?
Keep it real.
Okay. Well, with that, we will chat with everyone next time for level 210. And have a good beginning of the year. And chat with you guys later. Bye.